Welcome everyone to our mathematics series. We are continuing with our teaching on bearing, the JSCE aspect of it. Today we're starting with reverse bearing. If the bearing of a point A is described from another point B, then the bearing of B can be described from A based on the first description. Let's take an example. The bearing of S from Y is 150 degrees. The bearing of Y from S is, the options are given. Solution. The problem diagram is given us. Now for the first diagram, which is the problem diagram, gives us what the question said, that the bearing of X from Y is 150 degrees. Now the solution diagram is the one that shows the bearing of Y from X, and that can be gotten by the arc that is drawn at X with the portion A and B. The bearing of Y from S is equal to A plus B. Note that but A is equal to 150 degrees, raising alternate angles. B is equal to 180 degrees, raising angle on a straight line. Thus, A plus B is equal to 150 plus 180, which is equal to 330 degrees. Another example. The bearing of a tree from a house is 293 degrees. Find the bearing of the house from the tree. The options are given. Solution. First, we have the problem diagram, which shows the bearing of the tree from the house is 293 degrees. Now the solution diagram shows the bearing of the house from the tree, but the required bearing is A, labeled A from the diagram. But A is equal to B, raising alternate angles, and B plus 180 degrees is equal to 293. But B is equal to 293 minus 180 degrees, which is equal to 113 degrees. Thus, A is equal to 113 degrees. Another example. The bearing of point P from Q is 056 degrees. Find the bearing of Q from point P. Solution. From the two diagrams presented, we have the problem diagram, which shows the bearing of P from Q, which is 056 degrees. Now, the solution diagram is drawn to show the bearing of Q from P. And if you look at the arc at point P, it was carefully drawn to show the required bearing. I will mark out 180 degrees, which is angle on a straight line. From the diagram, the required bearing is A plus 180 degrees. But we know that A is equal to 056 degrees, raising alternate angles. Thus, A plus 180 is equal to 56 plus 180 degrees, which is equal to 236 degrees. Another example. From the diagram above, what is the bearing of P from Q? The options are given. Solution. From the solution diagram that is drawn from the diagram is A. But note that A plus 40, A plus 40 is equal to 360 degrees, raising angle at a point will be equal to 360 minus 40 degrees, which is equal to 320 degrees. Another example. From the diagram, what is the bearing of A from B in this figure? The options are given. Solution. Now, a critical look at the solution diagram. The required bearing is A plus B. But note that A is equal to 58 degrees, raising alternate angles, and B is equal to 180 degrees, raising angle on a straight line. Therefore, A plus B is equal to 58 plus 180 degrees, which is equal to 238 degrees. Next, we treat more problems on bearing. Y is 200 meters north of X, and Z is 200 meters east of Y. Find the bearing of Z from X. The options are given. Solution. From the two diagrams shown, we have the problem diagram, which is a direct interpretation of the problem given that said Y is 200 meters from north of S and Z is 200 meters east of Y. Now from the solution diagram, we have the bearing of Z from S is A. The resulting triangle is an isosceles triangle by reason of 200 meters for each of the two sides. Recall that the base angle of an isosceles triangle are equal. That is, A is equal to D, base angle of isosceles triangle. We are still in with the solution diagram, and 90 plus A plus D is equals to 180 degrees. Sum of angles in a triangle. Thus, 90 plus A is equals to 180 degrees. Because we have stated earlier from the beginning that A is equals to D. And we gave reason for that. So we can continue. It becomes 90 plus 2A equals to 180 degrees. And from there, A is equals to 45 degrees. Another example. A point P is 45 kilometers from Q on a bearing of 75 degrees. How far is P north of Q? Correct to 3 significant figures. Solution. From the problem diagram, we have a direct sketch of the question. We said a point P is 45 kilometers from Q on a bearing of 75 degrees. Then next, we have the solution diagram, which is we're trying to solve for how far P is north of Q. The resulting right angle triangle has sides of concern as 45 kilometers, which is the hypotenuse, that is H. Required distance, which is the adjacent, that is A. AH will fit into car. And from there we can say cos 75 degrees is equals to adjacent over hypotenuse. I'm using SOHCAHTOA now, which is equals to distance over 45 degrees. When we cross multiply, the result is 45 times cos 75 will be equals to the required distance. And when we check off 75, under 0 in cosine of angle, it is 0.2588. So our result will be 45 times 0.2588 will be equals to the required distance, which is the same as 11.646 and approximately equals to 11.6 to 3 significant figures. We've come to the end of the examples under this topic. Next, we have some exercises. The teaching was taken from our hidden fact in JSCE mathematics from page 228 up to 232. Please try your hands on the exercises. The hard copies of the book are available in bookshops. The soft copy is available in our website, whose address is at the bottom of the screen. Thank you.